They say the West isn't just a place, it's a way of life. And out here, grit meets grace and stories rise like dust kicked up by hooves. I'm Devin Dole of Devin Out West, and this is Westward, a podcast about horses, cowboy, and faith, humor, and the quiet work of a good life. Whether it's my words or a guest story, I hope you hear something that steadies your heart and stirs your spirit. God is good, and I'm glad you're here. Let's head westward. The Westward Podcast is co-produced with LiveEQ. Learn more about Westward and LiveEQ in the show notes. Welcome back to another episode of the Westward Podcast. I'm Devin Dole, and as you might be able to tell, I caught the crud, and I dodged it for so long. I have a really good immunity protocol that I follow very carefully because I have an autoimmune disease. And so when I get sick, it is often very sick. So I try really hard not to get sick. But it's going around. I have also had this now for well over a week, which is kind of strange for me for it to be hanging on this long. I usually get really sick for 5 days and then it kind of lets me go. Not this time, man. I'll tell you what, I just can't shake this. And I kept pausing recording this podcast because I didn't want you to have to listen to me all nasally and congested, but it just doesn't seem to be going away. So we're going to power through, and I'm sorry for the sick voice. I'm doing my best to stay hydrated and get rid of this voice, but it's man, golly, it's a wild ride right now. I don't know. If you're sick, I hope that you heal up soon and get back to feeling good. We're in 2026 officially, and as I'm sure you have heard, it's the year of the horse. This is everywhere. Everybody's talking about it. We're in the year of the horse. What a fitting ride. What a fitting year for so many of us that are in the horse industry. How exciting. And as we go into a new year, 2026, something was kind of on my heart I wanted to talk about this week. I have a guest episode coming up soon. I have another horse history lesson episode coming up soon with a very highly requested horse that I think there's a lot of stereotypes around, and I'm excited to kind of get into his story and why he has the stereotypes he does and if they're deserved or not. So I'm excited about those episodes. Today, I'm just going to speak off the cuff. Sometimes I try to outline these so I don't, just go off on a tangent, which does happen. This one, I'm just kind of speaking from the heart. So bear with me, and I hope you enjoy this. But as we go into another new year, I was really thinking about a few things. One, I was thinking about how overwhelmed and overstimulated I think we all are with everything. So I'm just kind of speaking from the heart. As we go into a new year, it's the time for goal setting and strategizing and New Year's resolutions and planning. And I'm definitely, doing all those things behind the scene. My husband and I had a quarter one planning meeting, which was really fun. And we just kind of went through what our goals are together for the first quarter of the year, what we want to accomplish. We're really, focusing on some key facets of life, like our spiritual, our walk with Jesus, focusing on our health, focusing on our finances. So we're having fun. Today, I wanted to talk about something that has just been on my mind recently, and it's because I was ironing shirts the other day, which I've started to do again when they come out of the laundry. I started to iron our pearl snaps again and our jeans and just kind of get the wrinkles out of the clothes. And I know you're like, okay, what is, I don't care, Devin. There's a story here, and I think there's a point here that might resonate with you. So if you can hang in there with me, I promise I won't drag it out. But I was ironing our pearl snaps, and I was thinking about something I learned from my dad when we were really young. And I was thinking about how I was feeling going into 2026. I'm feeling hyped. I'm ready for it to be a good year. It's the year of the horse, right? This is our year. And I know, folks were like, it's the year of the fire horse. Hang on tight. Man, I've ridden red mares my whole life. I learned to ride on a red mare. I feel like I'll be all right. But who knows what a year can bring, right? Who knows what a year has in store? Some highs, some lows, could be tragedy, could be a lot of wins, a lot of victories. We just have to go along and find out. But we are going into this year really excited, and I have some big projects in store, some really exciting things that I can't wait to talk more about. I'm not trying to do the whole like, oh, I'm gonna drag it out. It's just literally details aren't finalized. So if I told you now, there'd be nothing that exciting to tell. But more books and more personal, uh, goals for the Devin Out West brand, for the Westward podcast, for just, this community. I want to be able to give back more, all these things, right? Like so many goals, but that can get really overstimulating and that can get really overwhelming really fast. And social media is kind of an interesting place because I like to be driven by the people that are around me in terms of like, I want to sit at the table with go-getters and in turn makes me more of a go-getter. But I don't want to fall into a comparison game and keeping up with the Joneses. And especially on social media, I know that can get heavy. You might look at somebody else's life that you're seeing on the screen and think, man, I wish my life was like that. Must be nice. Or maybe someday. Or, some people have all the luck. Or I'm behind. Why am I so behind? God, why have I fallen behind? Why'd you forget me in this journey? Or whatever that might feel like for you. I want to talk to you about ironing the shirt and how amongst all of our big, big goals for 2026, one of my big goals is to iron the shirt, literally and metaphorically. What does that mean? Well, when I was young, I've talked about we junior rodeoed a lot. We were gone every weekend, honestly, and we didn't have a lot of money at that time. Like having horses, it was a huge privilege, obviously. My dad was a team roper. My dad, grew up with horses. Like it was just in our blood. And we weren't like flush with cash. All right. My father worked really, really, really hard, scraped and fought and scrapped to build a business in his 40s. Like he went out on his own, kind of later in life and built a business from nothing. And he started by mowing yards. Like I'm actually going to have my dad on this podcast and I'll let him tell his story. But he started out, mowing yards. And so we didn't have a whole lot of cash, but we rodeoed. And that was our passion. That's what we loved. Like I said, my dad was a roper. It's what he loved. We didn't take vacations, but we dang sure went to rodeos. And looking back, I'm not sure to this day how my dad got 3 kids down the road with 3 to 5 horses in the trailer from a very young age by himself, scraping by, like foregoing so much on his own to pay entry fees for us. And that man, I never remembered him ever buying anything for himself. If he bought something for himself, it was like a bag of hot tamales at the feed store. Maybe. I mean, he got like one new pair of jeans a year. To this day, he gets 1 new pair of jeans a year, and I buy them for him at Christmas. But he just really got by on very little so that we could go do what we loved with our horses. We had an old motorhome, and I've talked about this a little bit, actually back in like the first episode. And it was nothing fancy, it was just an old Class C motorhome, old Jamboree that pulled our bumper pole horse trailer that, again, was nothing fancy. It was pretty rusty, and it was safe. It was safe to go down the road, but it was not fancy. And as we got, older in junior rodeo, we kind of started to see so many folks switching over to big living quarter trailers and really shiny rigs, which was awesome. That was cool. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see anybody succeed. But it's really easy as a kid when you don't understand things to look, everybody kind of stepping up to these big living quarter trailers. And then our little motorhome, which we loved, and just not kind of get the discrepancy there. And I remember asking Dad once or twice why that was. And, he was like, well, this is what we have and what we love and what we're going to roll with right now. And more power to anybody else that has something different. And I was like, well, good enough, right? I'm a kid. Let's go to the pool. The horse I competed on mainly was Lady. which was my dad's roping horse, which we took and turned into a barrel horse, a pole horse, a goat horse. And then my sister had her good horse named CJ, and my brother rode a horse named Mike, who was our roping horse. And we all shared, right? Like Mike was the roping horse, and we shared him, and Lady ran poles, and CJ ran barrels, and all these things. Most of those horses were hand-me-down horses from Dad, or they were bought at kind of a discount price, and either Dad made them or we just kind of grew with them, and they got better as we went. CJ was an incredible, like, once-in-a-lifetime horse for my sister, and she ran that horse for, 18 years and never replaced him. Like, obviously, he was very well taken care of, but we had what we had, and we were very grateful for it. But it wasn't flashy, and it wasn't shiny, and it wasn't new. And that was okay. We were very happy. But my dad made sure that no matter how old something was that we had, if it was an old saddle or an old pair of jeans or an old headstall, that no matter what we had, we were taking care of it. He was very consistent with that. That motorhome, it was old, but it was very well taken care of. I mean, there's a reason that thing could go down the road to a rodeo. Did it go fast? No. Everybody was passing us. We were doing 55 and struggling. But it made it there. And I don't remember us ever really breaking down too many times. We broke down a few times, but there's a reason that old motorhome got us down the road. It's because Dad took care of it. There's a reason that those horses lasted so long. And it's because, we really took care of them. There's a reason that my dad could make a pair of jeans stretch for as many months as he could, and it's because he took care of them. And when they wore out, my mom patched them up or whatever, and got them back to, usable shape. There was a reason that even though we didn't have a whole lot, it felt like we did because it lasted so long. There's a reason that my dad's saddle that he team roped in the 70s is still in my tack room, and I still ride it today. It's because it was well taken care of. Now, of course, stuff was really well made, too. Then there's that. Like, that was a quality saddle that his friend made. But things were just taken care of. And they weren't new. And they weren't flashy. And they weren't maybe quite as shiny as what some other folks had. But they were taken care of. And where the ironing the shirt comes in here is that we'd get ready to go to these rodeos, and we'd be loading up that old motorhome with whatever, food for the weekend. And it's like the only time we were allowed to eat Lunchables. Oh man, it was great. Just living on Lunchables for 2 straight days. And we would get our clothes ready to put them in the motorhome. And my dad had us iron everything before we loaded up that rig to go for the weekend. So we had our little pearl snaps, right? Which is like today still my uniform is I mostly wear a pearl snap shirt and jeans. That's just kind of my go-to. So we had our little pearl snaps because, of course, Western dress, you gotta dress appropriately for the rodeo. And we'd iron them. And of course, my mom did this for us and my dad did this for us when we were really young. But then Mom showed us how to do it ourselves. And so we would start to kind of iron our own clothes before we put them in the rig. And as a kid, you look at that and you might think, why are we doing this? Like, this shirt is going to get filthy, right? Like within an hour. We're talking hot, dusty, little podunk fairgrounds in the middle of nowhere in July. And you're on the back of a horse and you're a kid. Like you're trying to get dirty, right? But Dad was persistent about that. He was like, no, iron your clothes, clean clothes, get them ironed, go put them in the closet of the motorhome and hang them up. Put them on a hanger, hang them up. That's just what we did. Like, I don't remember ever packing a bag, like folding clothes, putting them in a bag and putting them in the trailer. No, we put them on hangers. We put them in the closet. And that's just how it was. So maybe at one point we kind of questioned, like, this is weird. Why are we doing this? But we were so used to it that we just did it. And then we would load it up and we'd go on our merry way. And that habit followed me long into adulthood of ironing my shirts, ironing my clothes. And I do remember at one point kind of asking, like, why are we doing this? And my dad told us, he said, it doesn't matter how much you have or don't have. It doesn't matter, how much things cost. It doesn't matter if you're riding used tack or secondhand horses or anything like that. You can take pride in your appearance. That's free. You can take pride in how you look. You can take pride in the fact that your shirt's ironed or not. You can take pride in the fact that your saddle's clean, well maintained. You can take pride in the fact that you might be coming down the road in kind of a rust bucket motorhome, but it's running strong because we take care of it. And that stuck with me. I don't know how old I was when he kind of gave us that talk about why we were ironing our shirts. But I'll never forget it. I'm 33 years old now. I was probably like 7 when he told us that. And that habit did follow me long into adulthood. I ironed my shirts because I was a teacher for a long time, as you know, and teachers don't make a whole lot of money. And so I didn't have a lot of new things, but that really carried with me to just take care of what you have. And it doesn't matter if it's old, thrifted, secondhand, a little bit worn out, iron your shirt. And then I stopped doing it. And I don't really remember when I stopped doing that. But it just kind of got to the point where I thought, well, why? Why am I still doing this? And I'm talking literally right now. I stopped ironing my shirts. It just didn't seem to be a good use of my time. But in the last year or so, I started again. Because I thought, well, taking pride in yourself, showing up to the world with what you have, but taking care of it, stewarding the things that you have well, that's a good use of your time. And I've talked about this a little bit. I mean, there's definitely a lot of areas in 2026 where I want to steward things better, But as we go into this new year and as we wrap up 2025 and you're seeing what everybody has and maybe what you don't, I think it's really easy to stop ironing your shirt because you think, who cares? Who cares? Maybe if this was a more expensive shirt, I'd take care of it better. I think that's a slippery slope. If we'd have had that mentality about that old motorhome, well, if this was a more expensive rig, we'll take care of it better. It wouldn't have got us down the road. We wouldn't have been able to do what we loved. It was the fact that we took care of it that it lasted so long. That horse my sister rode, CJ, that she ran for like 18 years. I mean, he was a nice horse, but he lasted as long as he did because my sister really took care of him. And a lot of the clothes that we had lasted for a long time. My mom patched them up, sewed things, when they tore. And we kept them ironed, and we kept them clean. And looking back, it all makes sense to me. I know how hard my dad was working now, looking back. And I don't know how he felt pulling into fairgrounds when you were surrounded by a lot of folks who had big, shiny horse trailers. I don't know how my dad felt pulling in with kind of an old motorhome and a bumper pull. 3 kind of feral kids and a few horses that either he trained and made or that we just picked up for pretty cheap and made ourselves. I'm not sure. I know maybe I would have struggled with that. Maybe I would have had feelings of comparison. But I do know that when we got out, we, buttoned up our shirts for the day, tucked them into our pants that were ironed, and we looked good. And we put on tack that was maybe a little bit older, but it was clean. It was taken care of. And maybe our horses were, not as expensive as others, but manes were brushed out, tails were brushed out, and they were just taken care of. And I've let that lapse, in the past. when things got heavy or when life just got crazy or busy, I stopped ironing my shirt. But lately, I've been feeling maybe some secondhand emotion just coming off folks that are overwhelmed by some of the lifestyles they see, or overwhelmed by the amount of consumption, or overwhelmed by just trying to keep up. And I just wanted to say, like, if you're in that spot, look at what you have and how you can store it right now. Look at what you have and see how well you can take care of it right now to get you through until the next stage. And iron your shirt. Because no matter if you're showing up with a brand new pickup and trailer or if you're rolling in an old motorhome, you can step out with an iron shirt. And it might make a difference in how you feel. So in 2026, I want to make sure I'm ironing my shirts. Literally. But also metaphorically. If I ever start comparing myself to somebody else that maybe I see online and fall into that keeping up with the Joneses lifestyle trap mentality, I just need to remember, go iron your shirt. Go look at what you have. Go be grateful for the things that are already in your life. And then go take care of them. Go water your own grass. Go steward your own blessings. Go feed your own stock. Go iron your own shirt. Because no matter how much you do or don't have going on right now, find the time to take pride in it, to take care of it, to make it last. And who knows what comes next? I will tell you, at one point, Dad got his business off the ground, worked 7 days a week. I mean, like I said, we didn't take vacations or anything. And he saved and saved and saved and saved and bought a living quarters trailer without a loan. It was a 4-horse. It had an 8-foot short wall for the living quarters part. It was not big. And there were 4 of us. My brother slept on a cot in the horse compartment. And you know what? We thought it was the most incredible thing we'd ever seen in our lives. And I will never forget feeling like that. When we got that living quarters trailer, oh my gosh, I was like, whoa, we are in it. Like, this is the big time. I will also never forget how there were kids who made fun of it when we pulled in, and we thought, oh my gosh, we're going to show everybody, like, we're so excited. Dad worked so hard. Look at what we have now. Oh, look at where we came from. Now we're here. And there were some kids that made fun of it for being so small. But we didn't let that take the wind out of our sails. Because we knew this was a big deal. It was a big deal for us. And no matter if we were in that living quarters trailer or that motorhome or whatever, we were showing up, clean clothes, and ironing our shirts and taking pride in it. Like, you couldn't touch my enthusiasm. You couldn't have beat me down and made me feel like that 8-foot short wall wasn't a castle. Because I knew how hard Dad had worked for that. I knew how hard we had all worked to keep things nice, to take care of what we had. And we were proud. And when we showed up with iron shirts, didn't matter if we were on a $1,500 horse. Didn't matter if we were riding Dad's saddle from the 70s. We were proud. So today, that living quarters trailer got sold a long, long time ago, right? When we all became adults and weren't going down the road anymore together as a family. And I've never had a living quarters trailer since. I've pulled a bumper pull for a long time. But I'm proud of it. It's mine. And I've ironed my shirts for a lot of years. I've hung a lot of iron shirts in the tack room of that bumper pole and showed up with that same mentality. This is cool. I'm just glad to be here. What a gift. And I know it's really easy, especially there's something about a new year. Maybe it's all the talk of goals and accomplishments from 2025, and I had a fantastic 2025. I shared a little bit about it online in a video. God poured out blessings on my life that I never would have thought, never would have seen coming. I got married. Oh my gosh. I had some incredible, brand partnership campaigns that I did with, my feed partner, Buckeye Nutrition, and I wrote a second book, and I had some really cool things. But I know it can get heavy, seeing all that, hearing all that. And I know it's really easy to equate accomplishments with bank account numbers, but those two things are not mutually exclusive. I'll give you a little insight. I don't talk a lot about our personal life on here, on the podcast or on my socials or anything, but my husband and I are not wealthy people. We live in a very small house. I don't know, 800 square feet. Built in the 60s, I would presume. And I still have that bumper pull trailer. We have his rig that he had before we met. I love that thing. It's a Chevy pickup with a 454 that is not from this century. And a Circle D trailer that's just as old, if not older. But man, we love it. And that pickup is still running strong because he takes such good care of it. And those trailers suit us just fine right now. Who knows what the next stage is? Of course we have goals. Of course we have things we're striving toward and working toward. And we will replace that trailer at some point, just like we replaced that motorhome at some point. But no matter if we're rolling up with a pickup and trailer not from this century or a shiny new Big Bend, our shirts are going to be ironed. Because you can't wait until you have the things that you want to start taking care of them. Don't wait until you have the financial status or the trailer or the truck or the horse or whatever to start ironing your shirt. Show up today proud. Show up today taking pride in your appearance and in your tack, in your horse, in your rig. No matter how old they are, no matter if they're secondhand, no matter if you got them all for free. Start showing up today with that mentality. And also, I feel like God rewards good stewardship. And I have noticed the times in my life when I take the best care of what I have, man, all of a sudden, I am leveling up a little bit faster. It's like, wow, how is this happening? I made a whole video on treat your $2,000 horse like a $20,000 horse, and you might be surprised that you end up with a $20,000 horse. And I will dive more into that in another episode because that's going to go along really nicely with this one. But for right now, wherever you are at in life, whatever you're waiting on, and as always, friends, I'm preaching to myself. Thanks for being here for my inner monologue. Whatever you're waiting on, wherever you're at in life, whether you have a lot or have a little, iron the shirt because you can still show up with whatever you got and be proud of it. And nobody can take that from you. We were so proud of that living quarters horse trailer. It didn't matter it had an 8-foot short wall. It didn't matter that one of us had to sleep on a cot in the horse compartment because it wasn't big enough for all four of us. Are you kidding? Did you see what we came from? And we loved that rig. And we took care of that rig. So we're dang sure going to take care of this one. And we didn't wait until we had that trailer to be proud. Dad instilled that in us. We were blessed beyond measure. Had food on the table, had horses down in the barn. It didn't matter what year the trailer was. We were just blessed to be going down the road. And he taught us, no matter what you're showing up in, no matter what you're pulling out the back, show up proud, take care of what you got, and iron your shirt. And nobody can take that from you. You don't have to wait until you have the thing that you're working for to start being proud of what you have and how hard you've worked to get to where you are today. So going into 2026, I have a lot of goals. We have so many goals, and we're so excited. And I hope you are too. So no matter what you have right now, no matter where you're at, what you're starting with, whether it's the 68 Jamboree motorhome or the big old living quarters trailer, be proud of it, take care of it, and show up proud of yourself. Pride is an interesting thing. I think pride is one of those things that pride can knock you down and knock you back because it can keep you from attaining your full potential. But when I say show up proud, I don't mean the kind of pride that goes hand in hand with ego. I mean, proud of what you have because you've worked hard to steward it well. Proud of what you have because you know what it took to get here. Not proud as in arrogant, but proud in the sense of, I don't care if this shirt was secondhand, thrifted, or bought brand new. I'm going to iron it before I go out. And I'm going to take pride in what I have, no matter how little or how much. Because you got to start somewhere. And taking care of what you got now will just prepare you even better for all the big things coming. So have the goals. Strive for whatever you want. You want to build an empire? Build an empire. But if you're starting with pebbles and you're trying to build a mountain, you can be proud of those pebbles. Take care of those pebbles. Because when you get to the mountain, you're going to take care of it. And those habits will already be instilled. So when we were rolling up in a motorhome that topped out at 55 miles per hour, we got out with clean, ironed shirts and pants. And when we were rolling up with that living quarters trailer, we were getting out with clean, ironed shirts and pants. And the standard just didn't change. Maybe the view changed, but the standard didn't change. This was just on my heart today because I was ironing the shirts. And I was thinking, man, what a lesson. Something I really want to focus on more for 2026. Because we've got these big goals. But we got to take care of everything that's going to get us to those big goals. So, I hope that you had a beautiful Christmas and holiday season and you had a wonderful New Year's. And I hope that you're looking forward to 2026 with the same kind of passion and energy that we are. Like, you're excited, you've got big goals, you're hyped, you're ready to go, the energy's up. Let's make it great. You know, God's got big, big plans, big blessings to pour out on all of us. But you don't have to be there yet. And when you look at the Joneses out there, when you look at the folks that you're comparing your life to, one, knock it off. Stop it. That's not going to get you to your goals any faster. And good on them. Be glad for them. Right? The grass is green where you water it. Bloom where you're planted. Stop looking at what other people have, right? I'm preaching to myself. That's not going to get you anywhere. Look at what you already have. Take care of what you already have. Look at where you're headed next and how what you're doing right now is going to get you there. And show up at every stage of your life with your shirt ironed. Because it's free, one, to be proud of yourself and how hard you worked, how far you've come. Two, you're just setting a standard that no matter what you have, a little or a lot, you're going to steward it well. And I guess that's my rant for you today. Compliments on my father. I don't know. Like I said, I might have gone off a little bit on a tangent. Normally, I kind of outline these a little bit, keep myself in line. I just want to talk to you from the heart today. Share a little bit more about me, my background. And you could take this literally or metaphorically. I do both. I'm kind of a literal person in a lot of ways. So for me, I like my shirts to be ironed. Literally. I do it. It's easy. It's soothing, actually. You know. My mom, my dad taught us how to do that. And metaphorically speaking, that goes for my tack. That goes for my horses. My pickup's kind of an area of improvement I need to work on for 2026. Keeping that thing clean. I don't know why. It's just a catch-all. I like to have everything in there that I would ever possibly need, you know? But that's all right. It's good to have room for improvement. So we got a lot of big goals, and I'm sure you do too for this year. One, don't feel bad if you don't accomplish all of them in 2026. Just keep moving forward a little bit every day. One foot in front of the other gets you where you're going. And no matter what you're showing up with, from the start to the finish, be proud of where you're at. Don't compare what you have to somebody else. And for me, I always feel better when I show up with an iron shirt. Well, I hope some of this made sense. Maybe it'll resonate with somebody. And sorry for the sick voice. Hopefully this is going to be over soon. I feel pretty good. It's just the congestion. I really hope that you're doing well. And I hope you're going into this year excited and ready to go. Oh man, my friend, don't compare what you have to others. And if anything, let me be the one to de-influence you a little bit. That one, it's okay to live in a small house. It's okay to pull a bumper pull horse trailer. It's okay to have an old motorhome. It's okay to wear secondhand clothes. It's okay to ride horses that you got for free and trained yourself, whatever. It's okay to ride really expensive horses. It's okay to drive really nice pickups. It's okay to have really shiny living quarters horse trailers. It's okay. It's okay. It's your journey. So wherever you're starting, wherever you're ending, wherever you're at right now, takes pride in it. Be proud of where you're at, how far you've come. Keep your eyes trained on your own goals, not what somebody else has. And saddle up for the year of the horse. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. And iron your shirt. I really think you'll feel better. Metaphorically, literally, however you want to take that. Thank you so much for listening. As always, thanks for listening to me just kind of preach at myself over here and go on my soapbox, again, directed at myself. These are all things I just need to hear. And have a wonderful start to 2026. Check your cinch. Check on your friends. God is good. Glad you're here. Thank you for heading westward with me. I'll see you at the next one.
Thank you for riding along with me westward. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If so, please share with a friend or follow the podcast, as it sure helps me out. I always want to hear your thoughts, comments, and suggestions, so shoot me an email at thewestwardpodcast@gmail.com, or reach out on any of our social channels, all found at the Westward Podcast, or reach out to me personally at Devin Out West. I'm sure glad you're here, friend. Check your cinch and check on your friends.